Great, so let's just do a quick recap. We had our actors or roles and a set of features, and we want to determine basically what is the real shape of our MVP now and where do we start and what do we do next. And we created this matrix, this risk value matrix, and in the sort of bottom left is the who cares corner, low risk, low value. In the bottom right, great, happy days, very valuable, very easy, so fantastic. Then we have the top left corner, which is, opposite of Nike, just don't do it. We don't really think we need it, and it scares us like crazy. And then we have the O corner, because it is absolutely critical and it really, really scares us. So we start with the relative view of these features in terms of how critical they are to making this solution work. And not all features are as critical. They all may form part of the solution, but others are certainly more crucial. They're the crux of what we're trying to do here, which is why they're on the higher valuable side. And now we start commenting on relative risk of these features compared to one another. And we saw that it's a combination of business risk, complexity, and effort. And once we've done this together, using the best brains we have available, we have a good mutual view and understanding of the lay of the land. What does this space look like? And folks that normally get antsy and concerned, and rightly so, are the ones who are very excited about features which end up in the top left-hand corner, that just don't do it kind of corner. And the technique to deal with that is MVP 2 or Release 2. So there needs to be a robust discussion as quickly as possible about agreeing that some of those features are going to not be part of MVP 1 and they're going to be part of MVP 2. And whatever remains then is a reasonably good agreement at this point in time, based upon the best information we have now, on what we believe are the features in MVP 1. And not only that, we also have an angle of attack, because these are relative risk and value. And we start top right-hand corner, working our way down to the bottom left-hand corner. And this doesn't mean that we now need to go and draw up requirements or details or whatever for everything before we start. No, we start top right. So as soon as we possibly can, we are going to start tackling, invading this potential future top right. And we're not going to worry about things that are top left at this point in time. So just an additional point, which is critical. What we are doing here is we're making knowledgeable decisions. And what you require for this are knowledgeable decision makers. Now, the odd thing in today's complex world, especially the larger your organization, the more this is the case, a knowledgeable decision maker is seldom a single person. It is a combination of people that together make up one knowledgeable decision maker. And in many organizations, as this picture shows, you have the decision makers who like to be in rooms together. And then you have the knowledge workers who know the details of how things work and can give excellent input into relative risk and value. But in many organizations, these people don't often share a workspace and don't do workshops together. They're in separate rooms the whole time, which is a terribly, terribly bad idea. What happens if you only have decision makers in a room, your knowledge workers? Well, they cannot move the stickies on the risk value matrix. They can't move them. Why not? Because moving something is making a decision. We are deciding together that this thing is more risky than that one and less valuable than that one. So there's a chance that this one is now not going to be done anymore. And there's also a chance that this one is not going to be where we start, or is going to be where we start, or whatever. We're making decisions here together about how we're going to invade this specific future. Now, if we only have knowledge workers in the room that can't make decisions, well, they're not going to do anything. They're going to say, well, I think this sticky should be moved up. But I'm not allowed to make that decision. So everyone just wait. I'm going to be back in a moment. I'm just going to run out quickly, get permission about the sticky. And of course, that's not really going to work, because the person they're going to speak doesn't have context or whatever. But imagine it does work and they come back and they move one sticky. And as soon as we want to discuss the next sticky, oh, that's a different stakeholder. We need to speak to them. So no, you need all of your stakeholders and your knowledgeable people in the same room together. So this separate room thing, disaster. You need to create workspaces where your knowledgeable decision makers, your knowledge workers and your decision makers can attack this together, can create a battle plan, invasion plan together. And only when you do this together can you have plans that are highly likely to succeed, or at least likely to succeed. Okay, what is much worse than only having knowledge workers in a room? Yes, only having decision makers in a room. Why? Because they make spectacularly bad decisions. Is it because they're stupid? No, of course not. The world is just so complex. All of this technology, machine learning, computer systems, sensors, Internet of Things, networks, platforms, these are incredibly complex things. And you cannot expect that our top executives know everything about everything and the risk of everything and the value of everything compared to everything else. They just cannot. But they need to be around so they can also get context about relative risk and relative value so that they can enable decision making and, if need be, make the decision right there about the path to take and which battle plan to follow. So in terms of the double diamond, we've done good work so far in determining the problems, in exploring the problem space and converging on a number of problem definitions and selecting one of them to investigate the solution space. And we now have a view of what the initial MVP solution might be like, as well as an angle of attack. So we're making excellent progress towards getting this problem solved for our customer base and getting a viable business going. So yes, desirable, feasible, viable. We're really getting to the feasible and viable aspects of this now. Strategy and tactics. What have we sort of used here? What are we applying here in terms of military strategy and tactics and how to think about invading an uncertain future effectively? Well, we're really creating unity of command. Why is that? That is because we are putting everyone into the room together. We have the knowledgeable decision makers in the room together, and we're all giving input. And when we walk out the room, we must all believe that this plan is feasible. We're not saying that it's, well, we need to believe that it might be doable. There's no one walking out the room going, what an absolute load of nonsense, and it'll never work. What we don't want are people walking out the room while having not said anything in the room. When we are here and we're putting ourselves at risk together, tackling difficult problems, we want people to speak up. And if you did speak up and you've put your case forward and collectively we take a different decision, well, you've done your bit. You've said what you believe must be said, but we've now made a decision and we're going in this direction. What is very bad are folks that walk out the room not having said anything and then saying, what a load of nonsense that was. That is not helpful at all. Those kind of people, you don't really want them on your side when you're invading difficult futures together. So this is about creating unity of command, everyone being part of it, everyone getting an opportunity to speak up, to participate, move things around, and make knowledgeable decisions together. We're also employing simplicity because we're working in a room together, sticky notes, walls, and so forth. We're not going into a long consultative session. We're using all the intelligence we have in the organization and logistics. In this instance, logistics is really important because many organizations don't really even have rooms where 50, 60 people can work together and work on walls. You often have facilities coming around saying, oh, these walls have just been painted. Please don't touch them. Don't put anything on them, and whatever the case may be. These are people that you need to really have a serious discussion with because they are destroying your ability to invade the future. You need to create proper logistics environments, places where people can work on walls, and if they leave marks and mess things up, well, we can clean it up again. That's not the point. Is not to have pristine offices. The point is to invade the future successfully together. And I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson.